Hello everyone, and welcome. Today, we're exploring the fascinating field of algorithmic governance. Artificial intelligence is no longer just a computational tool. Today, algorithms influence many aspects of our daily lives: what information we see, which products are recommended to us, and even how public services are delivered. In other words, algorithms have become part of the decision-making infrastructure that shapes modern society. As AI becomes increasingly integrated into governments, businesses, and digital platforms, understanding how these systems are governed is more important than ever. In this video, we'll explore how algorithms govern society, and discuss the critical roles of governance, trust, transparency, and human-AI coordination in building responsible AI systems for the future. Let's begin. AI is no longer just a computational tool. Today, artificial intelligence and algorithms are embedded in nearly every aspect of society, from search engines and social media to government, finance, and healthcare. Whether we realize it or not, we interact with algorithmic systems every day, relying on them to support countless decisions and services. As a result, AI has become a powerful force that shapes society. For example, algorithms determine what information we see, which news stories spread, and what content reaches our attention. In government and finance, AI assists with screening, evaluation, and decision-making, making many processes faster and more efficient. Algorithms also influence our personal choices, from the products we buy and the investments we make to, in some cases, even how we form political opinions. At the same time, opaque or poorly designed algorithms can amplify bias, discrimination, and inequality, creating significant social risks. In other words, AI is no longer simply a technology for processing information. It has become part of the infrastructure that supports human decisions, shapes behavior, and influences the very mechanisms of society. That is why, in the age of AI, we must focus not only on technological performance, but also on algorithmic governance, how these systems interact with society responsibly, transparently, and fairly. Every day, we live with algorithms. From the moment we wake up and check our smartphones, algorithms begin shaping our experience. They determine the search results we see, organize our social media feeds, and select the news stories that appear on our screens. When we shop online, algorithms recommend products tailored to our interests. In financial services, they support credit assessments and investment decisions. Even public services are increasingly relying on AI to improve efficiency and decision-making. Although these appear to be separate services, they all share one common foundation: algorithms. Algorithms continuously select, rank, and optimize vast amounts of information, deciding what is presented to us and in what order. We then receive that information, interpret it, and use it to make choices and take action. In other words, we are not making decisions based on the entire world of available information. Instead, we interact with the world that has already been filtered and organized by algorithms. That is why the future of AI is not only about building more powerful algorithms, it is also about deciding how they make choices, whose interests they optimize for, and who is responsible for the outcomes they produce. Designing these principles and mechanisms is one of the central goals of algorithmic governance. So, what exactly is algorithmic governance? In simple terms, it is the interdisciplinary field that studies how algorithms shape the design and operation of society. Everything begins with society. Every society is built on fundamental values such as safety, fairness, efficiency, privacy, and accountability. To protect these values, we create laws, regulations, policies, and ethical guidelines. Today, however, these rules are increasingly being implemented through AI and algorithmic systems. Across education, healthcare, transportation, public administration, finance, and e-commerce, algorithms analyze information, prioritize options, and support important decisions. As a result, they have a growing influence on individual choices as well as the way society functions as a whole. But algorithmic governance is not simply the study of algorithms themselves. Its central focus is designing the entire chain that connects social values to rules, rules to algorithms, and algorithms to responsible decision-making. Ultimately, algorithmic governance asks a fundamental question: how can we ensure that algorithmic systems serve society in a way that is fair, transparent, trustworthy, and aligned with human values? Our social systems are undergoing a fundamental transformation. Traditionally, Society operated through a simple structure. Laws established the rules, institutions implemented those rules, and ultimately, humans made the final decisions. For a long time, this human-centered model formed the foundation of modern society. Today, however, that structure is evolving. Laws and institutions still exist, but a new layer has emerged between them and human decision-making: algorithms. In public administration, AI analyzes applications and supports administrative decisions. In finance, algorithms assist with credit evaluations, fraud detection, and risk assessment. On social media platforms, algorithms determine which posts and information are shown to millions of people every day. In other words, algorithms are no longer just convenient tools. They have become an essential part of the systems that operate society itself. Of course, the final responsibility and accountability should always remain with humans, but the information people receive, the options they consider, and the decisions they make are already being significantly shaped by algorithmic systems. That is why the challenge for the future is not simply to build better AI, it is to design laws, institutions, algorithms, and human decision-making as one integrated system, while ensuring transparency, fairness, accountability, and public trust. This is one of the central challenges that algorithmic governance seeks to address. Let's look at a familiar example: social media. Many of us believe that we freely choose the information we see on social media, but behind the scenes, algorithms are constantly at work. First, they decide which posts appear in your feed. Next, they determine whose content is given priority and shown more often. They also decide which information spreads, reaching larger audiences across the platform. And ultimately, they influence which information we perceive as trustworthy. Every step of this process is shaped by algorithms. Your timeline is not simply a chronological list of posts. Instead, it is the result of continuous algorithmic selection and optimization based on factors such as your interests, previous interactions, social connections, and the reactions of other users. In other words, social media is far more than a communication platform. It is a social system in which both the flow of information and the relationships between people are actively designed by algorithms. This is why algorithmic governance is so important. It seeks to understand how algorithms select information, how they influence individuals and society, and how we can ensure that these systems remain transparent, fair, accountable, and worthy of public trust. Algorithmic governance is not limited to social media. It is also being rapidly introduced into government and public administration. Governments collect, integrate, and securely manage large amounts of citizen data. AI then analyzes this information to support better decision-making and deliver higher quality public services. By identifying patterns, predicting future needs, and assisting public officials, AI enables governments to provide services that are more efficient, more personalized, and more responsive to each citizen's situation. For example, in social welfare, AI can help identify people who need support and deliver assistance more quickly. In taxation, it can improve fairness while reducing administrative costs through more efficient tax management. In healthcare, AI analyzes medical and health data to support better treatments, preventive care, and improved healthcare services. And in disaster management, AI helps predict risks, provide early warnings, and strengthen society's resilience against natural disasters. In this way, AI is becoming an essential part of the decision-making infrastructure that supports modern government. However, whenever governments use citizen data, important responsibilities come with it. Privacy must be protected, decisions must be fair, systems must be transparent, and public institutions must remain accountable for how AI is used. That is why introducing AI into government is not only a technological challenge, it is also a question of algorithmic governance, how we design institutions, policies, and AI systems that serve society responsibly while earning the trust of the public. Algorithmic governance is also becoming increasingly important in the field of public safety. Law enforcement agencies and judicial systems are using AI to analyze historical crime data, locations, time patterns, and other relevant factors to support risk assessment. By processing large volumes of information, AI can estimate the likelihood of reoffending and identify places or times where crime is more likely to occur. These analyses are not intended to replace human judgment. Instead, they provide valuable information that helps people make more informed decisions. For example, In bail decisions, objective risk assessments can support judges in making decisions that are more consistent and evidence-based. In police operations, predictive analytics can help identify high-risk areas and optimize patrol deployment, allowing limited resources to be used more effectively. However, one principle is essential. AI should never make the final decision. Its role is to analyze data, evaluate potential risks, and assist human decision-makers. The final judgment, and the responsibility for that judgment, must always remain with people. At the same time, these systems must be implemented with great care. If the training data contains bias, AI systems may produce biased or unfair recommendations. That is why transparency, explainability, privacy protection, and fairness are essential requirements for deploying AI in public safety. Ultimately, algorithmic governance is about designing the institutions, policies, and safeguards that enable AI to be used safely, responsibly, and in the public interest. Algorithmic governance also plays a vital role in the financial system. Banks, insurance companies, and other financial institutions use AI to analyze a wide range of customer data, including transaction histories, income, repayment records, and behavioral patterns. Based on these analyses, AI calculates credit scores that help support decisions about loan approvals, interest rates, and access to financial services. In the insurance industry, AI evaluates risk to optimize insurance premiums and coverage, allowing providers to offer services that are more accurate and personalized. AI is also widely used for fraud detection. By monitoring millions of transactions in real time, it can quickly identify suspicious activities such as fraud, identity theft, or money laundering. In addition, AI supports market monitoring by detecting unusual trading patterns and helping maintain the stability and security of financial markets. In today's financial world, algorithms have become a critical part of the infrastructure that supports everyday decision-making. However, if AI-driven decisions are not transparent, concerns about fairness, bias, and public trust inevitably arise. That is why financial institutions must focus not only on the accuracy of their algorithms, but also on fairness, transparency, explainability, and accountability. Ultimately, algorithmic governance provides the foundation for building financial systems that are not only intelligent and efficient, but also trustworthy, responsible, and worthy of public confidence. Algorithmic governance is also a key foundation for building smart cities. A smart city is an urban environment where data, AI, and algorithms work together to create a safer, more comfortable, and more sustainable society. Take traffic management as an example. By analyzing road conditions in real time, AI can optimize traffic signals and improve traffic flow, helping reduce congestion and shorten travel times. In the field of energy, AI predicts electricity demand and efficiently integrates renewable energy sources, supporting both a stable power supply and lower environmental impact. For water management, algorithms analyze consumption patterns and infrastructure conditions to detect leaks, improve operational efficiency, and conserve valuable resources. In public transportation, mobility data helps optimize routes and schedules, making transportation services more convenient and responsive to citizens' needs. Across all of these areas, algorithms continuously analyze data and support better operational decisions, making the entire city more efficient and resilient. However, a smart city is not created simply by deploying AI. To earn public trust, cities must also protect citizens' privacy, ensure transparency in decision-making, and provide services that are fair and accessible to everyone. That is why governance is just as important as technology. By integrating data, algorithms, and governance, we can build cities that are not only smarter, but also more trustworthy, sustainable, and centered on the well-being of the people who live in them. As we have seen throughout this presentation, algorithms have become an essential part of decision-making across modern society. So, what exactly does algorithmic governance study? At its core, the field begins with decision-making. Researchers examine how algorithms make decisions, what criteria they use, and how those decisions influence individuals, organizations, and society as a whole. Another fundamental area is transparency. AI systems should be designed so that their decisions can be explained, understood, and trusted by the people who rely on them. Fairness is equally important. Algorithmic systems should minimize bias related to factors such as age, gender, ethnicity, or geographic location. ensuring that decisions are fair, equitable, and inclusive. Another key research theme is accountability. As AI becomes part of society's decision-making infrastructure, it is essential to clearly define the responsibilities of individuals, organizations, and institutions involved in those decisions. To support accountability, AI systems also require auditing, continuous monitoring, evaluation, and verification help ensure that algorithms operate safely, reliably, and in accordance with established policies and ethical standards. Bringing all of these elements together is governance. Governance connects social values and public policy with technological implementation, ensuring that AI systems are deployed responsibly and serve the public interest. Ultimately, algorithmic governance is not simply the study of algorithms. It is an interdisciplinary field dedicated to designing the relationships between people, institutions, and AI, creating systems that are trustworthy, accountable, and aligned with the values of society. One of the most important research themes in algorithmic governance is transparency. AI systems analyze vast amounts of data and generate decisions that can have significant impacts on people's lives. But simply presenting the final result is not enough. To build trust, we must also be able to answer a critical question. Why was this decision made? For example, why was a loan approved or rejected? Why was someone selected for a public service? Why did an AI system identify a particular situation as high risk? The reasoning behind these decisions must be presented in a way that people can understand. This is the foundation of explainable AI, often called XAI. The process begins with AI analyzing data. Algorithms then generate a recommendation or decision. Finally, the system explains the reasoning, evidence, and decision-making process to human users. When this entire process is transparent, people can better understand how AI works and develop confidence in its recommendations. Transparency does not mean revealing every detail of an AI model or exposing its internal code. Instead, it means providing clear and meaningful explanations that allow people to understand the basis for important decisions. In algorithmic governance, ensuring transparency is essential for building AI systems that are trustworthy, accountable, and accepted by society. Another essential research theme in algorithmic governance is fairness. AI does not make decisions from scratch. Instead, it learns from data, analyzes patterns, and generates predictions, scores, or recommendations that support decision-making. These decisions can influence many aspects of our lives, including employment, education, finance, healthcare, and public services. This is why bias is such an important concern. If the training data contains bias, that bias can be reflected, and sometimes amplified, in the decisions made by AI. For example, if historical data contains unfair patterns related to gender, age, ethnicity, or other personal characteristics, AI systems may unintentionally produce discriminatory outcomes. Bias can also arise from the way algorithms are designed, trained, or evaluated, even when there is no intention to discriminate. That is why achieving fairness requires more than simply improving data quality. We must continuously monitor and evaluate the data, the algorithms, the evaluation methods, and the real-world outcomes of AI systems. Fairness does not mean giving everyone exactly the same result. Rather, it means ensuring that no one is unfairly disadvantaged and that everyone has access to equal opportunities and equitable decision-making. In algorithmic governance, maintaining fairness is a continuous responsibility. By reducing bias, improving accountability, and regularly evaluating AI systems, we can build technologies that people trust and a society that treats everyone more fairly. Another essential pillar of algorithmic governance is accountability. As AI becomes more involved in supporting decisions across society, an important question naturally arises: who is responsible when something goes wrong? This is one of the most fundamental challenges in the age of AI. Responsibility begins with the developers who design and build AI systems. They are responsible for creating algorithms that are safe, reliable, and technically sound. Next are the organizations that adopt and operate these systems. They are responsible for establishing policies, managing risks, and ensuring that AI is used appropriately within their operations. Governments and regulatory authorities also play a critical role. They are responsible for creating the legal frameworks, regulations, and oversight mechanisms that protect society and ensure that AI is deployed fairly and responsibly. Finally, there are the operators, the people who use AI systems in practice and carry out the final decisions. Even when AI provides recommendations, human operators remain responsible for how those recommendations are applied. In other words, accountability in AI does not belong to a single person or organization. It is a shared responsibility, distributed across developers, organizations, governments, and operators, each with clearly defined roles. Algorithmic governance focuses on making these responsibilities explicit, so that when problems occur, we can identify the cause, explain what happened, improve the system, and prevent similar issues from happening again. Building trustworthy AI requires more than advanced technology. It also requires a robust framework of accountability that ensures AI serves society responsibly and earns the confidence of the people who depend on it. One of the most important mechanisms for putting algorithmic governance into practice is algorithm auditing. AI systems are not something we build once and then leave unchanged. Society evolves, data changes, and user needs continue to shift. As a result, algorithms must be continuously monitored, evaluated, and improved throughout their entire life cycle. The process begins by recording every important AI decision in a decision log. These records preserve how decisions were made, making it possible to review the reasoning behind each outcome at a later time. With these decision logs, organizations can perform systematic audits. Auditors examine whether decisions were fair, accurate, transparent, and consistent with legal requirements, organizational policies, and ethical principles. If problems or weaknesses are identified, the algorithms, or the way they are used, can be improved. After improvements are made, the systems are evaluated again to verify that the changes have produced better outcomes. This creates a continuous cycle of recording, auditing, improving, and re-evaluating. That cycle is the foundation of trustworthy AI. Algorithmic governance is not only about developing intelligent algorithms, it is about ensuring that AI systems continue to operate safely, responsibly, and in alignment with society's values throughout their entire operational life. By continuously auditing and improving AI systems, we can build technologies that people trust, and ultimately, create a better AI ecosystem and a better society. So far, we've explored the vision and goals of algorithmic governance. However, turning that vision into reality involves a number of significant challenges. One of the first is security. If AI systems are attacked, manipulated, or exploited, the consequences can affect not just individual users, but society as a whole. Another major challenge is bias. As we discussed earlier, biased data or poorly designed algorithms can lead to unfair decisions and discrimination. That is why continuous monitoring and evaluation are essential. Privacy is another critical concern. Because AI systems rely on large volumes of personal data, protecting individual privacy and safeguarding citizens' rights must always remain a top priority. We must also consider democracy. When AI influences decisions that affect society, the rules governing these systems should not be determined behind closed doors. They should be developed through transparent processes and informed public discussion. Equally important is trust. People will only embrace AI if they believe the systems are fair, transparent, accountable, and designed to serve the public interest. Of course, we cannot leave every decision entirely to AI. Human oversight remains essential. People must supervise AI systems, intervene when necessary, and ultimately take responsibility for important decisions. At the same time, laws and regulations must continue to evolve alongside technological progress, providing clear frameworks for responsible AI deployment. In the end, the challenges of algorithmic governance are not purely technical. They require collaboration between technology, institutions, policymakers, and society as a whole. Only through continuous dialogue, careful evaluation, and ongoing improvement can we build an AI-powered future that is fair, trustworthy, and sustainable for everyone. As we have seen throughout this presentation, AI and algorithms have become powerful forces that influence many aspects of modern society. However, AI does not govern society on its own. Society is built upon multiple layers that work together. First, laws establish the fundamental rules, rights, and values that guide society. Next, institutions, such as governments, businesses, and public organizations, put those rules into practice through policies and operational systems. Within those institutional frameworks, algorithms analyze information, generate recommendations, and support decision-making. But the final decisions, and the responsibility for those decisions, remain with humans. People review algorithmic recommendations, exercise judgment, make adjustments when necessary, and ultimately decide how to act. These human decisions accumulate over time, shaping society and creating new services, opportunities, and value. In other words, AI is not the ruler of society. It is one important component within a broader social system supported by laws, institutions, and human responsibility. That is why the true goal of algorithmic governance is not simply to build more intelligent AI. It is to design systems where humans and AI work together under principles of transparency, fairness, and accountability. Only by combining technology with responsible governance can we build AI systems that strengthen society, earn public trust, and contribute to a better future for everyone. Throughout this presentation, we have explored the principles of algorithmic governance. So, what truly matters in the age of AI? For many years, progress in AI has been measured primarily by one thing: model performance. Researchers have focused on building larger models, achieving higher accuracy, and improving predictive capabilities. And of course, high-performing AI models are important. But when AI becomes part of society, accuracy alone is not enough. No matter how powerful an AI system may be, people will not trust it if its decisions cannot be understood, if fairness is not ensured, or if responsibility is unclear. That is why governance is essential. Good governance creates trust, and trust is what allows AI to deliver real value to society. In other words, the value of AI is not determined solely by the performance of its model. Its true value is realized only when it operates within a framework that is transparent, fair, accountable, and trusted by the people it serves. This is the shift from focusing only on model accuracy to embracing governance trust society. As we move into the next chapter, let's look beyond algorithms and consider what will truly be needed to build a better AI-powered future. As we've explored throughout this presentation, the most important challenge in the age of AI is not simply building smarter models. It is designing trustworthy social systems in which AI can operate responsibly. At Chinoba, our research focuses on building the foundational infrastructure that enables AI to become a trusted part of society. One of our core research areas is decision trace. We study how to record every significant decision made by both AI and humans, creating transparent and reproducible decision histories that can be reviewed and understood. Another key area is governance. We design frameworks for rules, oversight, auditing, and accountability so that AI systems can operate in ways that society can trust. We also research boundary design. This involves clearly defining the roles, responsibilities, and limits of both humans and AI, ensuring that systems remain safe, reliable, and aligned with human values. A fourth area is human-AI coordination. Rather than viewing humans and AI as competitors, we explore how they can collaborate effectively, combining their respective strengths to support better decision-making. Bringing these ideas together leads to our broader vision of Runtime Society. We envision a future in which AI, humans, organizations, and institutions continuously coordinate in real time, creating new forms of collaboration and social value. At Chinoba, our goal is not simply to build more powerful AI. Our mission is to design responsible AI systems, systems founded on trust, transparency, fairness, safety, and human collaboration. We believe that building these social foundations is essential for creating an AI-powered future that truly benefits society. Throughout this presentation, we have explored the emerging field of algorithmic governance. AI will continue to evolve, and the performance of AI models will undoubtedly become even more powerful. But the future of AI will not be determined by better algorithms alone. What truly matters is better governance. When AI systems are designed with transparency, fairness, accountability, and safety, people can trust them and confidently integrate them into society. And trust leads to something even more important: better coordination. Instead of replacing people, AI should work alongside humans, organizations, and institutions. By combining human judgment with AI capabilities, we can create new forms of collaboration and unlock greater social value. That collaboration is what ultimately builds a better society. The future of AI is not simply about technological progress. It is about creating trustworthy systems where humans and AI cooperate to improve our communities and our world. At Chinoba, we believe that trust connects people, collaboration creates value, and responsible governance enables a better future for everyone. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like to learn more about our research, please visit chinoba.org. where we share our latest work on responsible AI, governance, and human AI coordination.